Gary, how do you assess this afternoon's performance?
Yeah, obviously not the performance we want, but I think if you look at the game, we had most of the ball and the lion's share of the possession, which is always difficult because I think when you play teams that are in divisions lower than you, they get behind the ball and they make it very difficult, and the games perhaps become slightly different to league games. But that was a challenge for us, and we've got to try and move the ball quicker and a little bit more confidently. I think when we did, we've created certainly 4 or 5 very, very good chances, which has gone under people's legs and perhaps just not got the finishing touch, just not fell for those players at the moment. And then we can see 2 stupid goals. And whatever level you play, whatever type of game you play in, you cannot be sloppy. And I've said that to the players. The first one's a set piece which is incredibly sloppy for us to allow John Messino to get a free header, and then the second goal comes from us not clearing our lines and us dangling, weak feet in to try and stop the ball. So I've said to the players, our standards have got to certainly be much higher than that. And it looked, even though that's a friendly game, it looked like it meant a little bit more to Burton, and they were a little bit tougher than us, and they were a little bit stronger than us, and that I don't like, and that I can't accept. And I think for our lads, we've got to realise that we have to be 100% at it every training session in every game, and when we're not, that's what happens. That's what happens, and I think 1 or 2, or more than 1 or 2, just need to step up a little bit now in the next 2 weeks and start to show certainly some better performances than that today.
And do you think that'll happen as players get more 90 minutes under their belt? Because for a lot of them it was another 90 minutes, wasn't it, on top of this week?
Yeah, I think so. Again, we've had a very heavy week. There's been quite a lot of players that have tight hamstrings, tight groins, so again, they're not going to be as sharp as you'd want them to be. But I don't think those were the issues today. But again, listen, I have to dissect the game and I have to make sure that we don't get too carried away with results. I think last season, when we were here, we beat Sheffield United 4-0, and Sheffield United were a team trying to get into the Championship. And it never quite resembles a real game, so that's what we have to look at. But I just think we have to realise that we've got to be better than that, particularly in front of so many great fans, and again, they deserve a little bit more than that again, even though it's a friendly. But we certainly need to lift our performance level over the next couple of weeks.
You mentioned the chances, obviously, in the second half. Donaldson having one at the far post. Are they the sort of positives that you take from this sort of game?
Yeah, we created 1 or 2 things. I think again, you give credit to Burton. They make it very difficult, as we did last season in the Championship against a lot of teams. They drop right in, and then make it so it's not easy to create space. We haven't had too many games like that last season, and you've got to find a way through that, and you've got to find a different challenge. And I just think sometimes we've just got to be a little bit braver in possession, and we've got to be a little braver when we get it 1v1 out wide, do things a little bit quicker. But that'll come. Listen, we know we've got good players in there that'll make things happen, and again, listen, we'll watch it back and we'll make sure that we improve on certain areas. But I think today just really was a team that just kind of wanted it a little bit more, and that bit I don't like, and that bit, I'm not overly happy with.
And there's obviously 2 games next week. What are you going to look from the players to kind of get back from those 2 games?
Well, again, I think that Monday's game was always about the ones that don't play today, giving them an opportunity to play in a probably a slightly different game against Benfica, maybe like they're under 23s. So so it's going to be a good opportunity for some of them. And if I was some of those players, I'd be thinking that I want to put a really strong performance in, because watching the game today, I would certainly look to do that if I was them.
And obviously that means that there's plenty of competition for spaces in the first 11, isn't there?
There is, and I think that today was a stronger team, but it's no means that that's going to be the team. And I think we just need 1 or 2 to start to come back into the fold and start to give us those levels of last season. But again, I've said this before, I've been in teams that have lost every single pre-season game and we've ended up in playoffs. I've been in teams that won every single pre-season game. We did it at Blues many moons ago. We won nearly every game, and I think we didn't hardly win a game for the first 10. So I don't think it's always a direct reflection. But we just want to see a bit more of a consistent performance and a consistent desire to win the game as well.